Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, I wanted to give a bit of an overview to the NFC South standings following the Week 10 slate of games. Now, what you're seeing here, the only updated record for the NFC South before today is the Carolina Panthers because they played in Thursday Night Football. They lost, so Pro Football Reference has had some time to update the standings regarding that, but I also feel like it's important to see what the standings were before this Week 10 slate of games, just to see where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were and where we are going to see where they are now following the end of this video, which is not just battling back into the NFC South race, but also within striking distance of leading the division yet again this year. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. As we talked about, firstly, the Carolina Panthers lost to the Chicago Bears in Thursday Night Football. To be nice, put it nicely, Carolina's not in a position right now to be competing for the NFC South. They're definitely in a rebuilding mode, let's say, and they are going to be focusing on some other things like developing their young rookie quarterback. So that is an important thing to note there. As we can see with the updated standings, Carolina, that record is reflected in Pro Football Reference. They're 1-8. Now, if you notice, before this Week 10 slate of games, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were third in the South with a 3-5 record. The first thing that happened that helped the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was they defeated the Tennessee Titans. They won 20-6. We've already reviewed that game. Great win by the Buccaneers, bumped them up to a 4-5 record. Great news. You love to see that. That definitely helps out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers case, especially whenever you look at these standings here. Atlanta had a 4-5 record. New Orleans had a 5-4 record before this week. The Buccaneers got a little bit back into that mix. The second thing that helped out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was that the Saints lost in their game today. They lost to the Minnesota Vikings with a final score of 27-19. This drops New Orleans to a 5-5 record. We will take a look at that in a moment and where they are on the standings, but one important thing to note here is that if we go back to the overall schedule that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had this year, they have already defeated the New Orleans Saints back in Week 4, which means right now, if the Bucs and the Saints had the same record, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be above the Saints in any type of division races right now due to tiebreakers, I believe, or something along those lines. Point being, though, it's good that they have beaten the Saints this year and that the Saints lost today. Couple of things that do help out the Buccaneers. One thing that is good, but obviously not great for the Bucs, is the fact that the Atlanta Falcons also lost today. This is obviously good because Atlanta falls to 4-6. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers still technically have a better record than the Falcons, so they are still higher up than them on the standings. So shout out to Kyler Murray coming back in his first game back into the NFL in a good long while. However, if we take a look back at the schedule, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost a pretty now seemingly crucial game to the Falcons back in Week 7 that dropped them to a 3-3 record. Atlanta now is going to have some types of tiebreakers and whatnot, and definitely helps them out in terms of a divisional race. This is why divisional games are so important, guys. It matters whenever you have really close divisional races like this. But point being, though, is that you had the two teams that were above the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose today. That's in the New Orleans Saints, and that is in the Atlanta Falcons. This was the standings before today. The Buccaneers were third, the Falcons and the Saints were ahead of them. Now, going away from week number 10 into week 11, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play the San Francisco 49ers, we can talk about that game later. We don't even got to think about that right now. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers actually sit second place in the NFC South. The Carolina Panthers are fourth, the Atlanta Falcons are third, the New Orleans Saints are first, the Buccaneers are second. Why are the Atlanta Falcons below the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I assume because they have more losses, I guess. I don't know, man. It's kind of, yes, I know they've won a head-to-head and divisional stuff matters. I assume it's because they have more losses, okay? I'm not a big schedule guy, but the Saints have more wins than the Bucs. The Falcons have more losses than the Bucs. That's probably why this is the situation that it is right now. But, again, pretty important things to see here from both of these teams. You take a look at the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. We go here to the Saints. They have a bye week this week in Week 11. That is some pretty interesting news there. You also take a look at the Atlanta Falcons, and in week number 11, they also have a bye week in week 11. Why is this a big deal? Because if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win next week versus the San Francisco 49ers, they will be first place in the NFC South, with both of these teams playing each other the next week. That's a pretty big deal, right? If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because that means one of those teams is going to lose, right? So, even at the absolute worst, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can be second next week in the South if they win. And let's say the Saints win or something like that. Best case scenario is that the Bucs win and the Falcons win, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But point being is this: the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in a pretty decent position, all things considered, moving forward in the NFC South race. And they're second place right now. They've moved up a little bit in the overall ranking. So just kind of wanted to update you guys on that. Give you my thoughts and opinions on that. And yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still fighting for the South right now. Things have certainly gotten a little bit closer after week number 10, and they're only going to get even more interesting as the weeks go on. But folks, what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. As always, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.